Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today we're going to be doing beans and rice. Like Dave Ramsey says, if you are on a tight budget, you're wanting to save money or you're wanting to get out of debt, you need to be eating beans and rice. But that doesn't mean that it has to be disgusting or that it just has to be like awful meals or the same meals all the time. I'm going to be throwing together 10 of my favorite bean and rice meals. It doesn't have to be boring, but we are going to be saving a bunch of money by eating beans and rice. And they're going to be delicious. So here we go. Let's get started on 10 of my favorite bean and rice meals. To get us started, we're going to be making this easy red bean and rice dish in a large soup pan or Dutch oven. I need about 2 to 3 tablespoons of oil. I just use some bacon grease because I already have it on hand. I'm going to add 1 onion that I diced up, 1 green bell pepper, and then 3 stalks of celery that I did dice up very fine. Go ahead and give it a good stir. You're just going to saute that for about 5 to 8 minutes. You just want it to be very soft. Go ahead and add 4 cloves of garlic and give it another good stir. All right, now I'm gonna add in some seasonings. I have 2 tablespoons of Cajun seasoning, 1 teaspoon of thyme, 1 bay leaf, and then just go ahead and give that another good stir, getting all those flavors well combined. I went ahead and used 1, which is about 16 ounces of andouille sausage or any type of like Cajun smoked sausage will work. Go ahead and put that in the pot and let that cook for another 10 minutes. Once the time has elapsed, we're going to add in 1 can of tomato sauce, and then 1/4 of that can we're going to fill with water. I'm also going to put in 2 cups of, you can either do vegetable broth or a chicken broth will work just fine. I'm also going to put in a tablespoon of Worcestershire sauce and then 3 cans of red beans, and then go ahead and give that a good stir. Now we're going to just let that come to a boil. Once it does come to a boil, we're going to take the lid off, and then we're just going to turn down the heat just a little bit. And then I just cook this for another 20 minutes as it is just simmering. Guys, the flavor on this is on point. It is so delicious. My kids that really don't care for Cajun type of meals, they loved this. They said it was really good. They did say it was a little bit on the spicy side, but guys, you pair this with some rice, and I did some homemade bread. I love making sourdough bread lately. It is so delicious. This was a very filling meal. I only needed not even this whole bowl. It was just very, very delicious and very hearty. Next, we're going to be making these cheesy beans and rice. This one was good, and my kids loved this meal. What we're going to do is in a large mixing bowl, I'm going to put in 1 15-ounce can of pinto beans. And then I didn't have another smaller can, so I just used this big can. So you can completely omit this if you have 2 smaller cans. If you have and you want to make more, then you can use this big can as well. And I just put in probably just about 1/3 of those pinto beans. And then I'm just going to use my grinder, and I'm just going to blend that all together. All right, in a saucepan, I just have some bacon grease, about 1 tablespoon worth. And then I have 1 jalapeno that I diced up. And then I have about 2 cloves of garlic that I'm gonna add to the mixture here and just give that a good stir. And I just sauteed that for just a couple minutes until those jalapenos and garlic were soft. Well, the jalapenos were soft. I'm going to add the remainder of these pinto beans and then just go ahead and give that a good stir, so getting all those flavors well combined. All right, now I'm going to go ahead and add in basically our refried beans. I'm going to go ahead and add in that whole mixture. And then I'm just going to give that another good stir, and I just left this on the stovetop for maybe 5 to 10 minutes. I just want to make sure and get all of those flavors well combined first. And then I have some seasonings that I'm going to add to this mixture. I have 1/4 of a teaspoon of paprika, 1/4 of a teaspoon of cumin, and then 1/8 of a teaspoon of black pepper. And again, just give that a good stir. And then I just added about 1/2 cup of cheddar cheese to the mixture. and just let that melt. And then I put just a little bit more cheese on top after I plated it with some rice. I was very pleasantly surprised how good this was. I'm not a huge fan when it comes to pinto beans, but this worked and my kids adored it. Next is going to be this very easy 4-ingredient chicken rice casserole. I'm going to go ahead and lightly grease my 9x13 dish. I have 2 cups of jasmine rice and then 3 cups of water. I'm also going to throw in 1 can of cream of mushroom soup. You can use any type of rice that you desire. I love using jasmine rice. That's pretty much the only rice that I use. Sometimes I use basmati, but it's just so good. And it always turns out real good every time that I use it in my Instant Pot or anytime I use it in a casserole. Go ahead and mix all those ingredients up together. And then I'm going to add about 2.5 cups of shredded up chicken. I just used some chicken from a rotisserie chicken at Sam's. And then I have this onion soup mix that I'm going to throw right on top and just make sure it's nice and even. I'm going to go ahead and get some foil and just put that right on top of our casserole dish. I'm going to go ahead and throw this into our preheated 325-degree oven. And I actually let this cook for an hour. And then once I took it out, take off the foil and you guys have a wonderful dinner. Look how easy that is, and look, everything just looks so good. It smells amazing. I love the French onion add that we put in here. It just makes this dinner even more phenomenal. This is so easy to throw together and your family will love it. Up next is a traditional sausage and rice. We're going to do all of this in one skillet. First, I have 1 green bell pepper, and then I have 1 smoked sausage that I'm going to go ahead and dice up. All right, we're going to come over to the skillet, and I have about 4 tablespoons worth of bacon grease, or of course you can use any type of oil that you prefer. We're going to go ahead and put the sausage and green bell peppers into the pan and go ahead and give it a good stir. All right, since it's been cooking for about 4 to 5 minutes, I'm going to go ahead and add in some minced garlic. I have about 2 cloves of minced garlic that we're going to add and give that another good stir. I have 1 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of oregano, 1 teaspoon of thyme, half a teaspoon of garlic powder, half a teaspoon of onion powder, and then 1/4 teaspoon of black pepper. And then go ahead and give that another good stir as well, getting all those flavors incorporated and just making sure that's getting even all over your sausage. All right, I also have 1 can of diced petite tomatoes, and then I have 1.5 cups of chicken broth, 1 cup of rice, and then go ahead and give that another stir as well, making sure all of that rice is going to get submerged in that liquid. Go ahead and put the lid on, and I let that cook without messing with it at all for about 20 minutes. You just want to let it cook and do its thing, and then you can take the lid off and then give it a good stir, and your rice should be absolutely perfect, and this meal should be ready to go. You guys, this is so easy to do. It is very budget friendly. You can even add beans to make this taste better and to make it spread even more. But this is very hearty and the vegetables add so much flavor to it. Your family will love this one. Up next is a angel chicken casserole. To a large bowl, I'm going to need 1 can of cream of chicken soup. Just go ahead and put that at the very bottom. All right, and then I need 1 cup of sour cream, or you can do Greek yogurt. I'm also going to need a teaspoon of garlic powder, a teaspoon of paprika, and then half a teaspoon of black pepper, half a teaspoon of onion powder, and then go ahead and give that a good stir. All right, go ahead and set that off to the side in a 9 by 13 dish. You're gonna go ahead and lightly grease that. I have 1 cup of rice. I'm gonna go ahead and spread that out so it's nice and even. I have about 3 cups of shredded up chicken from a rotisserie chicken. Go ahead and spread that out as well, making sure that that's nice and even. All right, and we're just gonna take our mixture that we just made and just put that right on top of our chicken. And we are going to try and make sure that that's nice and level as well. Just spread that out to the best that you can on top of that chicken. I almost forgot, but I have half of a cup of diced up onions that I'm gonna put in this as well. And then I have 2 cups of chicken broth we're gonna put right on top. Grab some foil and put that right on top, and we're gonna bake this in the oven for about an hour. All right, once it's done cooking, we're gonna take off the foil, and I'm just gonna put about a cup of shredded cheese right on top of that. And then I'm gonna throw this back in the oven for another 10 minutes. I'm also going to put in about 1.5 tablespoons of parsley. After the 10 minutes is up, I'm gonna go ahead and just dig into this, and it's very, very cheesy. It's very moist. It has wonderful flavor. This would be great if you paired it with some vegetables, also like a salad, but we just put it on a bed of rice, and it was very delicious, a very hearty meal for sure. Up next is a butter chicken that we made in the crock pot. So to our crock pot, I have 1/4 cup of heavy whipping cream. I have 1/2 cup of Greek yogurt. And of course you can use sour cream. Either one is going to produce the same type of results. And then I have a 15-ounce can of tomato sauce. I have this coconut milk. I have never cooked with coconut milk before in my life. I'm not even sure I've bought coconut milk before. So I had no idea if this was going to turn out okay, but it did. We really enjoyed this meal. I have 1 onion that we diced up, and then I have about 4 cloves of garlic that I went ahead and minced up. I have 3 tablespoons of garam masala, if that's how you pronounce that. 1 tablespoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/2 teaspoon of black pepper, and then 1 tablespoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of turmeric, and 1 teaspoon of salt. And then if you dare, you can put in 1/4 teaspoon of cayenne pepper. I did not because I was afraid it was going to be too spicy. So those are the seasonings that you're going to add. And then of course, we're just going to go ahead and give that a good stir, which does take at least 3 to 4 minutes because of that coconut milk. All right, and then I'm going to go ahead and add 2.5 pounds of diced up, cubed up, I guess I should say, chicken breast. The recipe does call for chicken thighs. I don't have any in my freezers, and so I just use chicken breast, and it turns out fine. It actually turns out real tender, which I was very pleasantly surprised. I went ahead and cooked that on a low heat for about 6 to 7 hours. This was so good. I did stir halfway through, and then towards the end I added about 3 tablespoons of butter and then just mixed that in as it was melting. I just go ahead and plate this with some rice, and that's really all that this meal needs. It is fantastic with tons of flavor. Next is this one pot chicken and rice. And we are going to get a large skillet out, and I have about 4 tablespoons of bacon grease. Of course, you can use whatever type of oil your heart desires. I have 1 cup of diced up carrots that we're going to add, and then 2 cups of jasmine rice. I'm also going to put in 1 tablespoon of minced onion, 1 teaspoon of garlic powder, 2 tablespoons of paprika, and then go ahead and give that a good stir, getting those flavors incorporated. You just want to make sure that grease or that oil is all over that rice. And then I have 4 cups of chicken broth and then 4 cups of water. I'm also going to add 2 cups of shredded up chicken. I just love using rotisserie chicken. I love getting it from Sam's and then shredding it up. And I can make so many meals from that chicken. And that's usually how I plan my meals, is doing these rotisserie chickens. It just makes life so much simpler, and it's very, very inexpensive. And their chickens are amazing. They season it so well. And I just put a little bit of Parmesan cheese at the top of this, and boom, we have dinner ready to go. Up next is this creamy vegetable casserole. To a Dutch oven, we're going to go ahead and put in about 2 tablespoons of bacon grease or any type of oil that you desire. We're also going to put in 1 onion that I just went ahead and diced up into very, very small pieces. I have a half a cup of milk, and then 1 can of cream of mushroom soup. Of course, you can omit that and do your own homemade version. I have half of a teaspoon of salt, half a teaspoon of pepper, half a teaspoon of Italian seasoning, and half a teaspoon of garlic powder. Go ahead and give that a good stir, getting all those ingredients well combined. Make sure it's just a very nice and creamy texture. All right, I'm also going to be adding 1 cup of shredded cheese. I just did like a Mexican blend, and then just go ahead and stir that all together. Okay, once the cheese has melted, I'm going to add 2 cups of kind of like a stir fry. I'm also going to add 2 cups of frozen vegetables to this. So I have 4 cups of vegetables. Of course, you can add any type of vegetables. I'm just trying to get rid of some of the things that I had in my freezer. So I'm just dumping some vegetables and calling it good. So you can add whatever type of combination you would like. Okay, I have 3 eggs that I went ahead and beat up, and now I'm just going to add that to our mixture and then give that another good stir as well. And I'm just going to let this sit for about 3 to 5 minutes. And then next I'm going to add in my rice. I have 4 cups of cooked rice that I'm going to add to this mixture. You can kind of see how much you're going to want. If you want it to be more vegetable blend, if you want more rice, that's completely up to you. I found that this meal was very creamy. It did have plenty of like the liquid, the cheese, to make it very creamy and cheesy. It's kind of however you want to do it. I know it's a little different to not have the meat, but trust me, this was really good without it, and I am a huge meat lover. Up next is one of my favorite meals. I love it, and you can do it so many different ways. I love making this in the crock pot because it just makes life so much simpler. I have about 2.5 pounds of chicken thighs. I went ahead and just cut off the extra skin and fat. And then I have 1.5 cups of chicken broth that I'm going to be putting right on top of that, and about a tablespoon of lime juice. And then of course we need 1 ounce of taco seasoning, or your own homemade taco seasoning works wonders as well. And then we need about a can, 15 ounces of black beans. You can omit that if you don't prefer any beans in this. I love putting beans and corn and sometimes even rotel in this, or even like diced tomatoes. So you can mix and match however you and your family prefers. I actually do rotel and the diced tomatoes. I love the petite tomatoes. They just are so good. And then we're going to cook that on a low heat for about 5 to 6 hours. And then I just use my meat masher and just shred up the chicken in the crock pot. That way I don't have to do very many dishes. And it is so tender that it just shreds very easily. And then of course I put this over a bed of rice. The one that I made was a little bit more liquidy, so maybe omit as much chicken broth as you, or if you guys like a lot of it to be pretty juicy, then you can keep it the same, but I probably would only do about half a cup of chicken broth if I were to do this again. This one is a showstopper. For this last one, I wanted to do another crock pot one because it makes life so much simpler. I need to add 1/4 cup of soy sauce and 1/3 cup of honey. And you could put this like in a small mixing dish. I just did this measuring cup just to make things a little bit easier. Then I need 1/4 cup of tomato paste, like this bouillon type of powder. Then I'm going to need 2 teaspoons of sriracha sauce. tablespoon of sesame oil. All right, I'm also going to need a tablespoon of this rice vinegar. Then about a tablespoon of minced garlic, and then 3 tablespoons of water, and then just go ahead and give that a good stir. It may take just a couple minutes to get all of that stirred evenly. Once it is all stirred through and it's well incorporated, we're just going to put that off to the side. We're going to go ahead and spray our crock pot, and I just did like a medium-sized crock pot. And I have about 3 medium-sized chicken breasts, so about 2 pounds of chicken breasts, or you can do chicken thighs. I think chicken thighs would taste even better. I just like that dark meat. Usually just is really tender meat. Go ahead and cook that on a high heat for about 4 to 5 hours, and then use your meat masher and shred up that chicken. All right, once it's all shredded, it should look like this, and I'm just trying to get that juice all over that chicken to make it even more tender. And then I just put this over a bed of rice, added some broccoli on the side to make this a very healthy option. And you know what, guys, this is phenomenal. The flavors are on point. My husband loved the chicken. He said the flavors were so good. Thanks so much for watching this video. I hope that you enjoy. I hope that you gain some good knowledge and some ideas for what to make when you are on a tight budget and you are just wanting to save on your grocery bill. So thanks so much for watching. I hope that you enjoy it. Give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Consider subscribing below if you have not already. I'd love to have you here on this channel, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.